we also have discovered that it's helpful when implementing sustainability to have certain support systems developed. A sustainability management system, for example, to manage your efforts, to track and store your data, to help make sense of it so that you can measure your progress over time. We found that certain structures are sometimes helpful, which might mean certain teams, or lots of organizations now are creating sustainability coordinator positions, things like that. Communication and education systems are very important. Keeping your employees and your key stakeholders up to date about what you're doing, and educating them about the process and what sustainability is. And also incentive systems. We hate it when we see organizations try to implement changes that affect people's behavior, only to find that their business systems are reinforcing different behavior. For example, salespeople who get a higher commission on non-sustainable products, or trying to get people to take public transportation, but they still pay for parking. So when your incentive systems are out of whack, you can run counter to what you're trying to do. Just a couple of other things is that we're finding that in terms of finding resistance in the organization, it's very normal for people to be sometimes skeptical or sometimes a little resistant to change. And our attitude is, if you're not encountering resistance, you're probably not trying to do enough. And that resistance can look like a number of things: denial, silence, malicious compliance even. So you should be watching for these things. And that important to note is that some of the sources for this resistance can be rational, but often is not. It's an emotional resistance. And this is important to distinguish between the two, because you would deal with them differently. I might use logic and fact-based data if the resistance were rational, but that's not going to be useful for someone who's got an emotional response to it. And our recommendation is really don't sweep it under the rug. Go toward it. Use it. It's telling you something about the organization. It's telling you about what's working and what's not working. We'll often recommend that when organizations create a team or a team structure, that they get people on that team that might be some of the biggest resistors, because they're telling us something about the system. It can be very educative. A couple of tips that we've used is that we found that these things don't work when you're trying to force something or pull the trump card, the hierarchy card on someone. It tends to just drive the resistance underground. But instead, what we find is that if you can involve people, I mentioned getting them on these teams, helping them keep the end in mind, that it's less about the process, that people can have influence over the process, but that we're trying to get to this end that's important for everybody and their children. We take the resistance seriously. We treat people with respect. One of our clients gave us a very wise piece of advice that said, find out where people are and come alongside them. Trying to push people too far, too fast really drives them to dig their heels in. And so thinking about where people are, helping them understand their resistance and where it comes from. So that's, I'm doing well on time too. So that's the set of my recommendations. This slide has been up before, but just some resources that we wanted to share with you. I really hope everyone on the call is familiar with the International Society of Sustainability Professionals. It's a great resource. If you're not, please check out the website. Alan's going to be doing a class for us next month, so that was the relationship he alluded to. And then a couple of free listservs that we'd be happy to add you to if you're interested in getting more information.